Okay, so I always say okay at the start. That's so funny. Anyway, right, so I just want to show you something. Some of the damage that the Victoria Police have caused. They're so dumb they have to keep causing harm to people. But there's my nice bellies. I bought them since August. That one seems okay. I mean, it's got a little bit of damage there. That was from Armistice Day. Nice blue and red for Armistice. So there's that one. And you'll see a really big difference because that's the other one. So see the front there? See how it's destroyed in the silver? See that? That's from them dragging me on the ground. And that side is really scuffed from it. So you can see very clearly, see that? Those are $800 shoes, Victoria Police. You'll be paying for those. That was the day you broke my finger and caused 2 lacerations on my leg for reporting to the supposed informant Riz Smith genocide and apartheid against my own people. I think I should know whether my people are being genocided or not. According to the UN treaties, they happen to be. So this is what they did today at the Supreme Court because I was yelling about being genocided in my own country. I wasn't even in the court premises. I was outside the court. I was outside on the footpath. They told me that was not court property. But they did it after denying me going to the law library. So I sat outside on the steps because my address is literally in care of Supreme Court at 210 William Street. They don't have a say on that because they made me homeless. So where's my car going to be? Where's my registration and everything going to be? Where do you think, Supreme Court? When you permit Chinese people and Indian people to commit perjury in our police reports in court. Look at that shoe. That's nearly $400 worth of shoe done. It's over for that shoe now. And these are brand new. I just bought these over Christmas. So that's done. Victoria Police, you'll be paying for that. Because you had no right to pick me up and drag me along away from the sitting on the ground. I was sitting on the ground at the front of the court. On the ground. You know why? Because they came out and said, you need to move because you're in the way of the doorway, which I wasn't. There's 2 doorways. And I wasn't in the way. I don't want to be hidden out of sight. I don't want to be genocided on my own land. So here we go with the other one. I didn't see. Oh yeah, there's a bit on that too. It is a brand new. So look at that. You can see the mark. It's destroyed the surface of the shoe. So they're going to have to pay for that. So Victoria Police trying to genocide me on my own land. So I went up there to go and do the court has asked me to fill in the fee form for my case. So I went down there to use my computer down there because they're the fiduciary obligee at this point. Fiduciary of the people anyway, but they're extra so for me because they've caused me to have to sleep outside. There's a bit more. Look at that. Totally damaged. Like, they just don't care what they do to people. They're just too busy, supporting money changers. Foreign occupants just damaging our property. Well, that's the property of the trust, but anyway. You'll be paying for that, Victoria Police, just letting you know. What else? I'm going to go focus on here or something. I don't know, I've got a big mess. So, I'll move these out of the way. You can, I don't know, let's go over here. I'll move over to this side. Oh, lots of little bits and pieces. Hello, Ancestry. I always say hello, Ancestry, in the morning. Hello. Oh, isn't she beautiful? It's a beautiful time. It's sort of coming on to dusk now, so it's kind of got that musty look. And the window's a bit dirty now, but it looks good. Anyway, let's come back to the room. Right, so knowing that I have CPTSD, they just decided they were going to give me a lot of problems. And so, right, so I was sitting out, I went in there to go to the law library, and I said, look, am I allowed in the law library yet or what? And they said no. And they wouldn't give me the email and the information for the court, head of the court, which is the CEO anyway, I suppose, and the head of the security people, who are all complicit in genociding us from our own information and discrimination against a disabled individual, and also preventing the course of justice, because the court has actually asked me to go do that application, do the fee thing, because if I don't do it, I'll have to pay out of the little bit that I've got left, because as I showed you a bit earlier, the Centrelink's decided they want bank accounts, and they have an ultimatum. They think they get to force us to participate in RBA. We're not participating anymore. We're not supporting you. I'm happy to be a martyr to my own people, so that they know we're being forced to use bank accounts that don't serve us. In fact, the bank can close at any time they wish, with no reason. They make up their own reasons, like everybody. They're all just liars out to damage each other. They've got a job, so they've got to damage someone else. It's all a game of, like just harming others all the time. It's constant. It's from everybody. They think they're doing their job, but Victorian Institute of Teachers are doing it, ARPA's doing it, Supreme Court's doing it, Centrelink's doing it, DSS is doing it, Housing and Unfairness is doing it. Where does it end? Where does all this stop? It stops when we put our foot down. It stops when we say this is not happening anymore. It stops when we say no, your ultimatums are genocide, and that's an international war crime. So now I have to report to the stupid damn AFP now, because you've committed a crime against me and my people, Victoria Police, again. And you wouldn't come to talk to me. You wouldn't stop your people from assaulting me, and it was your people, PSOs, physically picking me up and bruising my arms and legs, damaging my shoes, making my skirt go up, because I am a woman and women wear dresses and that sort of thing, if they've got any honour left in them. So thinking that it's okay to drag a woman along the street, humiliating a disabled woman and a woman of Western kind, of the foundation of the Commonwealth, just isn't appropriate. Just isn't appropriate at all. And you've dwindled in numbers to a point where Western kind are being damaged so badly that they don't want to serve. Like, they've lost so much faith in all of this. It's unbelievable. And it's because you're housing invaders first instead of our own people. I don't know how many times I've said that. And like, I just can't understand how any of you thought it was okay. And the court staff, I'm so disappointed with Laurie and all these other people, because you're going to get replaced by non-whites. You're not going to get replaced by our people. And when that happens, it's going to be a damn difficult world for you to live in. You just don't get what you've been doing, what you're participating in. You should be at home with your family, looking after your elderly, looking after your young. What is wrong with our women today? Feminism is what is wrong with our women today. They think they have to put their kids in care for 18 and plus years, the first 25 years of their lives. They think they don't grow up until they're 30. They grow up when they're between 12 and 16. Remember the 16-year-olds who lied about their age so they could go off and stand for the country? Remember those kids? They weren't kids, they were young men. Young men. They knew how to do everything already. They were in the trades working already. A lot of these kids were working at 14 to 16. Well, not kids, young men. They're men. Give me a child until he's 7 and I'll show you the man. It doesn't take 30 years for any boy to grow up. Okay? Our years of adulthood or grown-upness used to be 21. It was a good age. You were mature enough to do everything, but you were ready to do it at 21. Whereas now, they just do whatever the damn please. When they're 21, they're already exhausted because they're so sexualized and so just demoralized that they just breathe themselves out. Because you've demoralized our people so much, it's just disgusting. So when you think about it, dragging a woman on the street, humiliating a disabled woman, any woman, but you had no right to touch me. I wasn't on court property. Because when I was sitting at the door, I was in a good, safe place. And if you hadn't have interacted with me, I'd have just sat there for a bit longer and gone, shit, I have a meeting to go to. And I would have left by myself without you assaulting me and causing harm and damage to my property. So what's happened instead is some guy talked to me and said he'll have an answer soon. I said, I want the answer to when I'm going to be allowed to be in a law library, because I've got things to do. I've got to action against these police. I've got to action against the court, because the court has accepted perjury and not done anything, and accepted making a woman of the West in our own Commonwealth that we are the foundation of, to be homeless. It doesn't matter that it's 1 or 20. I can guarantee that these non-white invaders are making lots of our people homeless. I spotted 7 of them on one morning at 5:30. I went walking, and there were 7 sleeping in doorways or just on the concrete outside of the shops, just on the concrete, wound up in sort of like a doona type of like blankets, I suppose. You know, some of them had a trolley and this and that. But I don't know how you expect someone with a disablement to live like that. But I know that Centrelink doesn't really care. They're too busy giving ultimatums than threats to genocide. Threats to genocide are very serious, heinous crimes. Centrelink, Human Services, and Victoria Police. I said stop human trafficking me. Stop trafficking me. Don't touch me. You have a fiduciary duty to care for my well-being, not pick me up and drag me along William Street, humiliating me, very severely humiliating someone in front of all the law students who've just graduated and who need to hear what you're doing. They need to hear what they're doing, what they're participating in. They need to hear what they're participating in. It's not a celebration when they're just about to be paid to put people like me on the street, because that's what they get paid to do. They get paid to genocide our people. Like that guy who just won the case about APRA blocking doctors from speaking about that. He didn't go and help other doctors and different things. Oh no, he got absorbed into the system. He decided he got a deal. He decided, I'm going to go into administration. So he's now been absorbed into APRA. You mark my words. Look him up. See what he's up to. He said he's going into admin. What do you think that means? He's a traitor. You think all these heroes are on our side? No. They're on our side until they get a deal. Once they get a deal, they've got allegiance. Once they've got allegiance, we're history to them. Topher Field, using the anti-white slur, racism, constantly. He knows it doesn't mean what he says it means. He knows good and well, but he still uses it because it reinforces the anti-white narrative. You ever thought of that? What about all these other heroes that report crimes on, like, put them on YouTube, but don't take them to court, and don't take them to the AFP, and don't report them anywhere else, just put them on YouTube? Public awareness is not court. It's not going to put them away. Hoodie, you idiot. You start off as a hero. You sound like a pretty cool guy. And then over time you just prove yourselves that you're just gutless, weak shit. You can't be bothered tackling the real issues. You present them on a fucking TV. You might as well just be one of those TV hosts. You're supposed to be the men of Western kind. You're supposed to be our men of the Commonwealth. You don't even know what the Commonwealth is. It's quite a bother, isn't it? It's getting dark outside now. I'm just so irritated now, because that's, $1,200 worth of shoe damaged by Victoria Police, bruises on my leg, bruises on both of my upper arms. Again, this is the second time you've done bruising all over me. What is wrong with you? Don't you deal with real crime? Don't you have anything to do than to pick on someone who's disabled? I was sitting at the door. There's still another door they could go through. They didn't have to die from me sitting there. But the court guy, someone McIntosh, I think. Forgot his name. He has a name. And someone named Aiden was the security guy there. Just doing my job, sir. The Nuremberg trials? Got a problem? Why are you genociding my people, Aiden? And all the staff at G4S? Who do you think you are? And what about, so when I was sitting outside, I was on the step. I wasn't doing anything to anyone. I made 2 little, videos because I'm quite had enough. He said, I don't want to be videoed. I said, I'm not videoing you. It's not even on. And I don't have internet. I don't have a phone. Because the bank used to pay it automatically. And those payments have been rejected. The payment to my business has been rejected. Everything's being rejected because 3 times is law and 3 different banks have debanked. So that's law. That's it. No bank. Just because a charity wants to get it doesn't mean I'm going to have it. I don't want to interact with it. I don't want to help that system. When you realise what you're working in, you realise what the hell you're doing. And so, I was sitting there and he's talking to me and he said, can you move over to that spot there? I said, no, I'm going to just stay here. Just leave me alone. Just leave me alone. Is it too difficult to leave someone alone? Seriously. A woman even stopped me and said, I agree with you. I totally agree with you. You're right. I said, I know I'm right. Of course I'm right. I don't fuck about. I didn't say that. That's what I'm saying to you. I said, thank you. That's really helpful for you. Thank you. I really appreciate it. Gave her a few compliments. She didn't expect that. She had pink hair. It was very strange. But anyway, I said, it looks cool because it's kind of... I don't understand women shredding back their hair to white and then making it pink. Doesn't sound like sane behavior to me. But, you know, they do it. They seem to take some pride. Oh yeah, pride comes before destruction, doesn't it, really? So, there we are. And, yeah, so he was talking to me, the court guy. He said he'd get an answer for me soon. I said, when now? Because I want to go back into the law library and I've got work to do. The courts told me they want me to do the fee paper. So we can't get into the courts because the librarians are anti-whites. Well, not the librarians, I beg your pardon. There is one or two of them that are anti-whites, definitely. Belle in particular. And Laurie, who's managing it. She doesn't like white people. But the thing is, when you go look on the website, the comment that they have about Wominjinka, it says to the Aboriginals that a lot of the law here is passed. I hate to say it, but if they're that stupid that they have to be told that, we have a lot of problems because they've self-determined separate from the Commonwealth. And if you don't believe it's separate from the Commonwealth, how do we have 3 flags on their flagpoles at the court? There are literally 3 sections of peoples. One's under administration, that's the blue thing. One's, quote, Aboriginal, close quote. They're really just mixed race. They're not Aborigines. But they're mixed race and they're claiming to be Aborigines because they don't want to be white. And this is the whole thing. This is what I say. We're being genocided to turn into this mixed, mongrelized race. And we don't want to be that. We want to be our own people. And the third one is the Torres Strait Islands. Fair enough, they can have a flag. They don't have to have it all over the continent. They only need to have it on the Torres Strait, don't they? They don't have to have that here. And we don't have to have the Aboriginal flag everywhere. They don't own the whole continent either. Yeah, I said that. They don't own the whole continent because they're a corporate foreign entity. They're not even part of the Commonwealth because they've declared themselves out of the Commonwealth. They're not following the Constitution at all. The Commonwealth of Australia Constitution 1900 Imperial is indissoluble, so our people have forever got that protection. Forever. Our people in particular have that protection because of our lineages. But the Commonwealth doesn't work how you think it does. It's quite interesting. I like Stephen. He's got his head above his shoulders, you know. But anyway, it's a strange saying. I made that one up. I sort of manipulated what I know. Anyway, yeah. So I'm quite disappointed, Victoria Police. Like, you're responsible for looking after me, not for harming, not for damaging my stuff. And you know they squashed a hat that was like $690. They squashed the hat into my bag. It was a Giorgio Armani. I've never had a Giorgio Armani anything before. So they squashed my hat into the bag. That was when they damaged those blue shoes that I showed you. So that's $1,800, I suppose. Total. For the 2 shoes and the hat. So that's going to have to go in the court, isn't it? If I get there. Because after that episode I came back and I was just... Well, someone had turned my air conditioning to 18, which is fucking cold in summer. I was feeling sick. It's making me feel sick. It's too different. And anyway, so I was sitting there and the guy's telling me he's going to come out with this information shortly. I don't even know what he's talking about because they'd already declined to give me the information, so I just sat at the door. Not at the door, but on the step. And they asked me to move and I said, no, I'm staying here, just leave me alone. I I don't know why you're here talking to me. And he said, I'm going to get the PSOs. And I said, well, for what? I'm not in the way. And so the PSOs came and they said they'd threatened me. This is the second time they did it. The first time they threatened to move me. I said, are you threatening violence? And he said, well, if you don't move, I'm going to move you physically. And I said, oh, so you are threatening me with violence. I see. He physically moved me out from the security entry to the step. So I sat down on the step. Because to go out in that condition where I've been upset is not helpful for me. Because the disability that they've been participating in, exacerbating for 3 years or more. Continually trying to traffic me. Continually kidnapping me. Continually physically assaulting me and breaking my property, or the property of the charity. You see, so when do they take responsibility? And so they physically moved me to the step. I sat down. The guy at the court was talking to me. He said, I'm going to go, I want you to move down to a different step over there. I said, no, I'm just going to stay here. Just leave me alone. If he had just left me alone, it would have fizzled out. I would have then got up and left. But instead of doing that, he got the PSOs to come in. The guy who had already declined giving me the email for this security company and the court and all of this said, look, I've got a card with all the information. I said, that was 2 hours ago. I've been sitting here for 2 hours now. You kidding me? He said, so you don't want it? I said, I don't want anything from you now. You've already said no. You already refused to assist. And I'm the beneficiary. You're the fiduciary obligee. So you refused to do the instructions of the beneficiary. So you've already made the mistake. You've already done the wrong. It's not even a mistake. You did the wrong. Your partner was talking over me, putting words in my mouth, or trying to. She looked like an Indian. She might have been an Aboriginal. They look similar. But she kept trying to put words in my mouth like a little tart. Victoria Police, control your non-white tarts, would ya? I don't want people putting words in my mouth, trying to shove the feedback line down my throat. I want an email. My phone's not turned on. And when you do phone, people don't listen. They tell disabled people to walk to the police station to report the PSOs assaulting them. How fucking stupid is that? I don't blame them. They haven't got many people in the force because the white men don't want to serve anymore. Because you've squashed us for so long. The whole administration, the whole Aboriginal nonsense corporate bullshit has been squashing our people for so long. Our men don't want to serve. They have nothing. You've demoralised us. You're genociding us. And it's funny because there's all these men of the West, Westmen or, white people, whatever you want to say, and they're ridiculing me while I'm talking out loud about genocide and apartheid. They're ridiculing. But don't worry about that. It didn't start today. It's been going on for 5 decades. I don't think I've lived a day without being ridiculed for being white. Or for having a religion. Oh, it's okay for Jews to have a religion. It's okay for Arabs to have a religion. It's okay for anybody else. Indians can have their religion, they're fine. Just not the white man. We're not allowed to have our religion. We have to mix. We have to be genocided out by everybody else. Isn't it funny? Isn't genocide against those UN treaties? Oh yeah, I was going to show you that, wasn't I? Maybe I should do that real quick. Yeah, so what happened then? Well, the guy was talking to me and he got the PSO. The PSO came out. He said, I want to give you that thing. I said, well, whatever. I don't know what he was talking about anymore, because that was like 2 hours ago. I already forgotten about it. You already said no. You refused to assist. And then he said, look, you're going to have to move from the step. I said, well, I'm not in the way, so why do I need to move from the step? You got no reason to ask me. This is my registered address. So, well, if you don't move, I'm going to physically force you. And I said, well, are you threatening violence again? That'll be a second time. And he just said, well, we're going to move you. So they pushed me to move down and to sit next to the little gateway that comes in, down on the ground. They said I could sit on the ground. So I sat on the ground out front of the court thing. They wanted me to go in the little corner. I said, no, I'm just going to sit in this bit here. Bad luck. And by that time, because they hadn't left me to cool down, even though they've been given all the paperwork of how to deal with this disability, they've had the paperwork for 1.5 years. Actually, it's more than 1.5 years now. June 23 to now. So it's a long time. They've had that information. They've been given a lot of that information by me, trusting that they will do the right care instead of discriminating. But instead it's done the opposite. They've done the opposite. They've taken that and put me out of the building entirely because they're anti-whites. They're only doing it because I'm white. If it was anyone else who said I need the care, they would have done it. But because I'm white, they pushed me out the door. You don't think I'm stupid? Don't think I'm stupid. It's if there was an Aboriginal claiming, even if they looked white, if they claimed to be Aboriginal and they went in there, you'd fucking let them stay. Mark my words. If it was an Asian or a non-white of any kind, you'd do it. You'd let them stay. Why? Because they guilt you. They white guilt you if you don't. That's the reason. It's discriminating against a disabled individual. There's no safety issues, you know it. The only safety issue is that I get to sleep on the street when you do that. I get to be out on the street while you're sitting pretty making money off my resources. They're going to be replaced by non-whites, and that's going to be the end of it. For us anyway, we're going to have to just leave, because we're never going to get treated fair, because they don't anywhere else that's been done to us. So it's time to get back into the Commonwealth and fuck it all off. It's a nice plan. It's going well. I don't know how to really do the chopping thing. It's got lots of new green things. I should put it in the dark for half a day. But anyway, so what else? Let me think. I'll do the UN on a different video, I think. Because I found it. I just want to talk about it, talk through it. And so I went down, they put me down on the ground outside the court, so I wasn't on the court property anymore, because they told me that wasn't court property. So okay, fair enough, I'll just sit here then. And by that stage I was already sort of fired up, so I just started talking very loudly about how their pretty shoes isn't going to save us from being genocided, and all their pretty uniforms and their little cameras taking pretty pictures and all this shit isn't going to save me and my people from being genocided off our own land. And they could see very clearly that I was genocided out of the law library and genocided out of the Supreme Court building simply because I'm white and I have a disability that they knew about, that they're not catering to. And they have to obey the law. They're just like everybody else. They're not outside the law. They're not outside the law. And that anti-whitism and the discrimination against the disabled, that's a crime. You can't have it both ways. You can't have it be a crime against non-whites, but not against us as a people. So it goes both ways. The door swings both ways in that thing. okay? The knife cuts both ways. It's a double-edged sword. Like the Nuremberg trials. They were a double-edged sword, weren't they? Genociding a people. Isn't that against the Nuremberg? I don't know. You know better than I do, court system. I mean, you say you're bringing justice, but what was that today? I don't see justice. I see genocide. Same with what Centrelink's doing, which I showed you earlier. DSS goes round in circles. You write to the DSS, they say it's Services Australia. You say to Services Australia, they don't even record what you said. They haven't even taken the bank account out of the list on their computer. Because if they do that, it cancels straight away. You can't get anything. They've set it up so that you must participate in the banking system. You can't get assistance without a bank. So they have an ultimatum. They've made an ultimatum. So they're trying to get me involved in the banking system by force, by coercion. Like they did with all these drugs and different things, poisoning people. They've disarmed us. They've taken our work. They've taken our pay. They've taken our resources. They've sucked our blood, figuratively. The blood of the ancestry cries out from the ground for them about this. The blood of our ancestors is crying out from the ground. Have we forgotten? And I'm probably not even reaching that many. I mean, people, they're so selfish. You see white men walking past laughing, thinking it was funny. When I'm saying we're being genocided, we need you. You're making us homeless. You don't understand what you're doing. And I like to think you don't understand, but I get the feeling you all do know. I get a feeling you do understand and you just don't care because you're getting money. But money won't replace your people when we're gone. Once we're gone, there's a certain generation, once they're gone, it's over. It's going to be absolutely a horrible place to live. When the world reaches that stage, and it has almost very close, when it reaches that stage, you're not going to have Western civilization anymore. It won't be civilized. And all the Asians are going to be, they're going to be enslaved. Like they always have been. I'm not going to like it. Because the only thing standing between you and us, darlings, you and trouble, you and problems, is us. We're the only ones standing in between. Everyone else is docile dummies, or because they're collateral beneficiaries. So by the damage that's done to Western kind in our own countries, in our own Commonwealth and all of our countries, the damage that's been done to us is the results are being given to others, invaders and nons and so on. So all the damage they inflict upon us is just being handed straight to someone else. They don't care about those other people, just as long as our people are destroyed and genocided, But committing genocide and apartheid are crimes. They're war crimes, and they're not to be swallowed at all. You see, all the Asians are just going, oh man, they're like really trying to. They knew what I was saying. They're listening. They're hearing it, and the white people are going, oh yeah, it's funny. No, it's not actually funny. The Asians know exactly what they're doing. The non-whites, they know. A really deep, dark couple of black fellas went past, African, I believe, and said, yeah, you speak up. You say it. You say it, sister. You say it. I said, yeah, brothers, you stand up for your people and I'll stand up for mine and we'll all be happy. And they put their fist to their heart, that heart thump they do. And I did the same and they kept walking. So very clearly, I wasn't saying anything about other races. I was talking about genocide against my people. It's never good enough. It's never good enough. And Victoria Police, you owe me $1,600. No, hang on, what did I say? 18. Hang on. 8, 4, that's 12. Plus 690. What's that? Yeah, 1890. Far out, Victoria Police. You got no fucking self-control. You dumb shits. And the Law Library and the Supreme Court now owe me... Well, I got 2 weeks free. You happen to be lucky. But 3 weeks at $280, I think it is. $290? $2,900. Not $290. $2,900. So 3 weeks of that, plus the $3,000 on books that I had to buy, because you won't let me go and use the books of my ancestry over there at the Law Library. My very own ancestry, my own family lineages have left records for me and our people, and you don't want to let me use it because you're too busy genociding my people by genociding me and various others. We know what you're doing. You think it's because I have a mental illness. But it's not. It's because you're anti-white and you're genociding me and my people. It's not because I have a mental illness. I have CPTSD. But that's not an excuse to genocide me from my own ancestral records. You can see very clearly that all these newcomers are taking full advantage of your stupidity, because you're letting them supersede us, giving them privilege where it's just not deserved. We are the blood of the Anzac. We are the foundation of this Commonwealth. We built the foundations of the court buildings and everything else, and pretty much in the city. The grids were set up by our people, our men. It's foreign to live in the city. We never lived in cities before. We used to live around the outside of the city. All this city dwelling is foreign to us as a people. It's quite strange and unique. It's not something we should be doing, to be honest. But of course you hate our people, so you're going to genocide us at whatever cost. And if that means I get to starve on the street by myself, well, you've already proven that it makes no difference and that you're okay with that. But from 2021 to now, and from 2009, 2013 to 2017, 2018, 2018 to 2021 being racially abused the whole time. Aboriginals at primary school abusing me because I was white, because they hate English people or any descendants of English people. So they got to racially abuse me in arts class in school at Altona Gate Primary School, this black Aboriginal, or Aborigine. I suppose he was an Aborigine back then. They actually weren't white ones, they were the real ones, the blacks. So when they mix with our people, they make ugly babies. But anyway, I suppose they're not learning that they're their own people, and they should have kept their sovereignty. But, that's their problem. They've gone into corporate now instead. They've gone foreign instead of harnessing back. And the Aborigine don't agree with it. And this is a thing that it's like these mixed mongrels just don't care. Too busy privileging themselves on it. And all these Aboriginal corporations are taking on the governments now. Taking all our stuff. Taking our resources and whatever. They never believed in a Commonwealth. They don't even know how the Commonwealth runs. So it's all to steal the resources from us. And it's natural to take care of your own people. So I was sitting outside down on the ground, and I was just yelling out that they're genociding our people, and these women and men and whatever. They're all taking the privilege of the blood of the Anzac. They're taking the privilege when they're making people homeless in the courts. And they're putting homeless, disabled people out on the street instead of letting me just sit peacefully on a step. Was it too much to share the step of my own ancestors so that I could just slowly come to and end up walking away by myself? Was it too difficult to let me have that space and time to just do that eventually? I mean, okay, what's the worst that could happen? I sit there till 6 p.m. and leave again, or 5 p.m. or whatever. When they close the gates, I just go, yeah, okay, that's it, it's closed. I mean, that's the worst thing that could happen. There's no other thing that could have happened. But you just chose to assault me. So I was sitting outside there, and they came out to talk to me, and there's like 4, 5, 6, something like that, of these PSO men, various races, whatever. And they said, you need to move away. I said, why? I'm not on court material. I'm outside the court. I'm not in the court. And you said, the security and all these people said that this isn't court. So it's not court. So you have no jurisdiction. You're only PSOs while you're in the court. And they said, you need to move. We're going to move you. And I said, well, you can't do that because I'm not in the court. So you have no right here. See, they kept going. You see, they didn't leave me alone the first time, they didn't leave me alone the second time, and they didn't leave me alone the third time. They've got all the documents about the disability. They could have chosen to give me the space the first time, but they kept going 3 times. So they physically moved me and physically picked me up, and I told them, you're going to break my arm if you keep doing that. I weigh 100 and something, quite heavy. I do look fat now, but when I weighed 80, I didn't look too big. I'm pretty solid because I used to ride cycles. I grew up riding cycles, and I was little, lots of muscle in my legs, and just really. And I don't mean slim with muscle, I mean like big calves and big legs for such a shorty. I should have been a bit taller, but I didn't. My spinal cord is bigger than my spine, so I failed to thrive. Nobody noticed that. But in between failing to thrive, somehow I built up lots of leg muscle and lots of ability in that. And so even when I'm thin, I can't get down past 60. And that's almost at starving. I can get to 66 if I'm starving, but just eating a little bit, but no meat, no dairy, which is causing a lot of problems if I do that. So my healthiest time, I was 70 kilos, but the advised is 53. 53 for someone in my height would be starving. Literally just not eating at all, except for maybe a meal a week or 2. Because there's no fucking way I'd be 53. At my healthiest and most active, I was 70. So, which is about size 14 here. Not too bad. And I was told I was fat. But actually, I was cycling and I was eating all the time and far out, man. And people used to say, where's the food go? I can't do that now because I'm not riding anymore because of the spinal injury. So that struck me down in my early 20s. And that's okay. I'll just deal with whatever. I'm so depressed about shit now that I just, so freaking hell. Anyway, so they pretty much tried to pick me up by the arms and legs, and I'm a deadweight. I don't move for police. I don't feel obliged to move because I wasn't on court property. So they moved, and they wanted me to move to the other steps right down the road, and I said, no, I'm not on court material. I'm not on the court. This is the doorway of my address in care of Supreme Court, 210 William Street. You don't have a say on that. You're the fiduciary duty. You're the fiduciary obligee, and I'm the beneficiary. So you're supposed to take my instructions, not the other way around. And so they physically picked me up, despite being told there's a spinal injury involved, despite there being told that there's a shoulder injury involved, and that you can't do that because you're going to hurt me. So they did that. They wanted me to move to the corner. They pretty much pushed me to go and move to the further till I got to the corner. And then I just said, well, that's okay, I'll sit on the curb. They said, don't sit on the curb, we don't want you on the curb of the road. I said, well, where do you want me to go? They said, go to that corner over there. I said, no, I wasn't even in the court building. I was sitting outside on the fucking concrete. Wasn't even on a step. I was out on the pavement, and the pavement doesn't belong to the court. So you've overstepped your jurisdiction, Victoria Police. PSOs to the court. And that's all you are, PSOs to the court. You weren't even Victoria Police. But you still continued 3 times on someone who has a known disability. Can you imagine if you didn't know? Fucking hell. So guess what? You're discriminated against a disabled person. You dumb shit. The whole bunch of you. So, I went across the road in front of the traffic because you had abused me so much that I was upset. And then I stood on the corner and yelled my little heart out about how the genocide against our people and how you just abuse us and how we fought alongside the Aboriginal. We didn't live in the way that we're living now where we have to give everything to the bloody things. We didn't have to live like that. Matter of fact, they came to our villages and joined us because we were giving them food. We should never have fed them. We should have let them keep hunting their own food. Go hunt your own fucking food. We'll grow ours, you go hunt yours. That's your natural way. This is our natural way. That's what should have been done. But we let them come and hunt with us. Eat with us. Instead of leaving them. That was our mistake. Actually feeding them. Because it's like, you feed any animal and they stay around. And there are people who are going to ridicule that. But you believe that we're animals, so feed an animal, they stick around. Real simple. And then they complain, oh, white man's food and white man's drink. Well, then fucking go and hunt. Don't eat our food and drink our drink, you fuckheads. How stupid can you be? You come and suck off of our tit, and then you complain about it. So we don't need to help you. We don't need to uphold you. We don't need to do anything for you. You do your own thing and we'll do our own thing. But don't fucking genocide us. Because you're going to end up with fights. Because we're going to start standing up for ourselves. Well, we've started already, but So, genocide, still a war crime. So I spent like 2 hours yelling on the street corner. Maybe more, actually. And I rang the Victoria Police about 5 times. And they didn't come and help me after being assaulted by their PSOs. And when I came back, I participated in my meeting for half an hour. I thought it was an hour, but it was half an hour. And then after that, I was so pained. My body was so much pain. My back, my spine, my legs, all the arms and whatever. And I laid down and I just stayed in the bed. Actually, I went and had a shower. I stripped off and had a look at the bruises, which did come up pretty much straight away. It'll be worse in the morning. I might not be able to get up because of the spine. And I'll be putting in a report to the AFP because genocide is wrong. It's against the law. And after the shower, after I did the little videos and things and all that, I went and crawled into bed and stayed there for a number of hours. I couldn't even watch a video. So I couldn't get any work done. So I got absolutely nothing done. Thank you, Victoria Police and Laurie at the Law Library. Thank you, Supreme Court. I trusted you. I sent you the information that you required to provide me a place to study and do the work that I need to do in the courts. I asked for your assistance and you tell me to go to the State Library. After I've spent more than a year and a half being in that environment and getting to know the materials and learning from my ancestry. They're my ancestral records. I'm of the lineages of the Lord Chief Justices. Way back into London even. And you keep putting in foreign, invaders into our courts, but you don't help us. Our Lord Chief Justices will be turning in their graves. The same as the Anzac, they'll be turning in their graves to see what you've done to our country. Not just Victoria Police, but everybody is killing out Western kind. Genociding us. Doing apartheid against us. It's not okay. Genocide and apartheid are both crimes. International war crimes. It's never okay to do it on any land. But you're doing it to us. You should all be hanging your heads in shame. It's not, like I said, it's not the courts and Victoria Police only. It's everybody on the land. Anyone who acknowledges one race above any others is committing apartheid. Anyone that causes damage to a race, a group of people, is committing genocide. End of story. So I'm going to end up there, and because these get difficult to upload, so this is me waffling on, blah blah blah. Just ignore me if you want to. Quite boring. Put it on double speed. Get a little listen in. Tell me to fuck off, I'm okay with that. Follow or not, doesn't bother me. To be honest, I just want to make money and get the hell out of here. I just want to take the treasures like we did in Egypt. I just want to get the treasures together and be out. I want to get the money together, put it into gold and bust this pop stand. I want to be out of here. Okay? So hopefully more people will join up and come involved in whatever. One of my videos previously had the details. It's not that difficult to find them and do it. Listen to the videos, grab the details, contact me on X if you want to, or whatever you want to, however you want to do it. There's a phone number somewhere. Contact me if you want. If you don't, that's okay. Stay silent, piss off, whatever. Thank you.